Hey guys, I'm Dee Harris. Welcome to another episode of Hanging Out with Dee. Today our special guest is Dr. Gropper, who has been a doctor and a pediatrician for almost 30 years. Welcome, Dr. Gropper.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, so happy that you're here. So before you go in and give us some nuggets of truth about taking care of our children and all that good stuff, we want to find out a little bit more about who you are.
Sure.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Poughkeepsie, New York.
Yes.
IBM land, yes.
IBM land.
Yep.
And then you studied medicine in Brooklyn?
Believe it or not, it was a big change from Brooklyn.
Yeah?
From Poughkeepsie.
From Poughkeepsie?
Yes. Yeah.
Why do you choose that university?
Because it was a state school and it was not all that expensive.
That's smart. That's a prudent choice, yes.
Yeah, as opposed to Georgetown, which was
super expensive.
Yeah, 4 times as expensive. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And why did you choose to be a doctor? Why did you want to do that?
Well, probably originally because my dad was a fairly sick person, and so I thought I could help him if I went into medicine. And then I went through first couple of years in medical school and realized that I probably couldn't help him, so I should do something I'm better suited for.
Correct, something that you loved.
Right.
And then you chose pediatrics. What was the motivator for that?
Well, we had a good chairman in the department who paid a lot of attention to us, Dr. Finberg, and the people were just nicer, and it was more fun to hang out and take care of kids than deal with adults, to be honest with you. Although we deal with the parents all the time, so I'm not sure it's all that different.
Yes. What motivates you and gets you up each morning as you take care of children?
I think to take care of families in general motivates me.
It motivates you.
Sure. I mean, we have a lot of advice we can offer, and it's not just medical advice. We've seen a lot of families, so we have a pretty good idea of what usually works and what doesn't work, although you have to tailor it to family, because each family's different.
Each family is different. So tell me about your amazing son. I know you're a dad.
I have a 23-year-old son who did go to a school that most people associate with medicine, which is Johns Hopkins University.
Yes.
However, he never really had any interest in medicine. He was an applied math major and did very well, and he basically works on Wall Street doing something that I can't explain.
We
Nobody
can't
understands it.
Making lots of money. What's your son's name?
Alexander, Alex.
Shout out to Alex. Awesome, awesome. So tell me about your dog. I know you love dogs.
Oh, wait, yes. We started with a couple of Rhodesian Ridgebacks about, 15 years ago. And they've passed away, but now I have a Belgian Deverne, which is a 50-pound, fluffy, fun dog that's really quite smart.
Oh, and he's your best friend?
He's definitely my best friend. He knows everything. He can tell when I'm leaving. He knows when I'm going to try to put him in the shower. Even though I don't know how he figures it out, he runs away. When he sees me turn around him in the yard, he runs down to the neighbor to hang out with his girlfriend, which is a golden. So he's he's a good dog, though. Everybody likes him.
Super awesome. So you are a part of the pediatric advanced life-saving team at Danbury Hospital.
Well, PALS, it's called PALS. Pediatric Advanced Life-Saving is really a course that is taught to medical providers to teach them how to take care of particularly ill or acutely ill pediatric patients. So it has to do with managing their airway and taking care of, they have cardiac arrest. And so most of us in the community take it, and I figured it was easier to teach it than you don't have to take it. So that's how you get out of taking every 2 years. If you teach it, you get credit for it. So it works out well.
Smart.
Yeah, and then you keep up with things.
Yeah. So then you got early information about the tragedy at Sandy Hook, yes?
Yes, that was a very difficult day. There were a couple of us, Dr. Goldenbach and I, who teach PALS, and because we have some advanced resuscitation skills, we were called to the emergency department the day of the tragedy. And I still remember all too well
what you saw.
Many people standing around waiting for victims. All I knew when I left the office was that a teacher had been shot. That's all that we had heard about. And when we were in the emergency department for a while, someone came over and said they're all gone, they're all dead. And I said, what are you talking about? all the children, and it was as if someone had punched me in the stomach. It was, I can't describe how horrible it was.
Yes.
And I think it was for all of us and the community, and really even my mom, who was in Florida, said they walked around all day just shaking their heads, not understanding it.
I mean, horrible. Even in Jamaica, where I was from, where I'm from, there was a lot of mourning right around the world.
I absolutely had friends from, now with Facebook, everybody knows where you can communicate. I had people from all over the world asking me if I was okay.
Senseless and horrible.
It was a terrible thing.
How do you unwind and heal after a day's work and after experiences like this? What do you do?
I have a fair number of hobbies. I enjoy running, cycling, meaning not a motorcycle, bicycle, just in case you're wondering. No, I don't ride on my motorcycle. I like taking photos. I'm into nature photography. There are probably another few things that I can't think of off the top of my head. But
and we're going to see some of your pictures later.
Great. Oh, that's great.
Yes, thank you for the work you do.
Oh, you're welcome.
So what got you into photography? I know I have a lot of friends who've been in med school and they don't even have time to scratch their heads. How did you find time to do photography?
Well, it's interesting. I think when I was a kid, my father, although he worked a lot and wasn't healthy, he sort of sensed that I was very into nature. And I'm not even sure that I knew it. And he bought me this enormous encyclopedia of nature books. I'm trying to remember what version it was, but I was interested in reading them, and he also got me a camera, and I just would go outside and take pictures.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my camera was stolen in
Yes,
Brooklyn.
tell me that story. They stole your camera in college?
I had graduated. Unfortunately, my dad had died the year before, but graduated, took all the pictures, went on a vacation to, of all places, Jamaica.
You did?
Yes. I'm not making this up.
You didn't? Oh my God.
And came back and someone had broken into my apartment and taken my camera. So
horrible.
I don't have any pictures of graduation from.
Horrible.
Yeah, but it's okay. I got a new camera.
High five. Keep the old one. Who are your mentors?
It's interesting. I remember talking about this, and there was a guy in high school who was not a very good runner. He was a senior. He was a real smart kid. And he saw me as a freshman running around and running up a hill. And he said, you know, you really need to move your legs and your arms this way, and you'll really run a lot faster. And I think his name was Edmund.
Yeah.
And I listened to him, and running became, I was a sprinter.
Better.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I was phenomenally better. It helped me.
Was this in college or high school?
This was in high school, but it actually helped me because I was recruited to be a sprinter in college. Now we're talking Division III, but still for Division III I was good. Yeah, and it had a big influence on my life.
Wow. So. What are some of the complaints that you see coming into your practice?
Well, I mean, we do. You know, pediatrics is divided like most medicine into essentially well care and kids who are ill. Yeah. There are the usual behavioral type complaints. How do you potty train a child? You know, how do you deal with a rebelling adolescent?
Do they bring those complaints?
Oh yes, yeah.
Oh, really?
I found over the last, I've been doing this about 26 years. Actually, if you include residency, it is close to 30. Yeah. That there has been a big increase in behavioral health in primary care medicine.
Oh, really?
We do a lot more sort of counseling and referral to mental health people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm not sure why.
Huh.
There's also been a big increase in food allergies, tremendous increase, especially peanuts and tree nuts and other things. And that's had a large impact on people.
Oh, wonderful. Good stuff, good to know. All right, guys, it's time for Dee's Life Questions. All right, Dr. Gropper, what inspires you? You were talking a little bit about nature earlier.
Well, nature definitely inspires me. I just think that we're often looking for amazing things in the world, and most of those things are right out in front of us. You literally walk outside. You could be in the middle of a city, and there are trees and animals and plants and insects and things that are just with colors you can't imagine if you take the time to look around at things.
Yes.
So I would have to say nature really inspires me. And it should inspire other people. I've been on the state and local Audubon for many years, and one of my big pushes has always been to just introduce children to nature, because I've said this many times, I really feel if you don't learn about something, you don't appreciate it.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, agreed. I'm a photographer as well, so
I
know exactly what you're talking about. Nothing makes me feel more connected to God or source or whatever people want to call it than being in nature.
It's very spiritual.
Yeah. What do you know for sure?
Oh, I know I had an answer to this, but now they're on TV.
You don't know, Man.
What do I know for sure?
Is there something that, a core belief or something?
Oh, that's the one I couldn't think of an answer. Okay.
Is there something that
I think I have an unusual answer. I think that in the end, everything balances out. I really do believe there's some kind of equilibrium in the universe, and you might have a bad day, but then you have a good day. There might be a bad person, then there's a good person. I just think that things balance out. I don't think that at times we can see that, because sometimes we're very up or very down, but I do think that for most people, under most circumstances, most things balance out.
Things work out.
Yep.
I like that, Mon. You get your high five for that. I like that. And apart from Edgar, the track and field teacher, you said that your uncle was a very big part of your life.
Yeah. And that ties in with some of the other things that we had spoken about. I had a really third cousin, but we called him my uncle, and he was an internist. And he was the kind of person that even at age 5, I could really, truly remember him listening to me. And it's very unusual for adults at times to listen to children. And I really appreciated that.
When you said you knew he listened to you, what do you mean? He was focused?
I remember telling him, I was a little bit older at this point, I was trying to grow, but I guess I did do some nature things when I was young. I was trying to grow corn, and I only planted 2 rows. And he said, well, let's go look it up. He took me into his huge library, and we were looking up corn, and he left me with this book. And it turned out that the corn won't cross-pollinate unless you have a big enough plot and have a square. And anything that you would say to him, he would ask you questions about it. He would acknowledge it. And I think that's important to do with everyone.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of us, we just keep moving and don't pay attention to one another.
That's powerful.
Thank you.
Shout out to Uncle Alan. All right, guys, it's time for I Don't Like That, Mom. All right, Doc. What gets on your last nerve?
I don't like at all when people promise something and don't follow through. And people make commitments. I know circumstances change, but you really have to communicate that. I find that very annoying, to say the least. And I will keep it to that.
Keep it to that.
I also really don't like when things are not fair or just. When people are taken advantage of, and there's so much of this in the world. You could really get wrapped up in it. But again, I do believe that in the end things somehow balance out.
Yes. And then the other thing that you said you didn't like is when people don't take responsibility.
Absolutely. If you commit to something, if you say you're going to do something, you really need to follow through. Or explain that you can't. You just can't leave people hanging. It's,
We don't like that, Mom.
You don't even like, not even hanging with Dee. It doesn't work. It's not nice.
We don't like it. We don't like that, Mom. I agree. High five again. All right, guys.
I'm getting a lot of these.
We're getting a whole lot. It's time for Say What? All right, guys, so you know that this is a segment of the show when we allow our masters, such as the esteemed Dr. Gropper, to share with us nuggets of truth and great information that we normally have to pay for. You get it
don't
free
don't
here,
hold
guys.
your breath, though, please.
Don't hold your breath.
Because you can turn blue.
All right, guys, so let's go to the first graphic, Dill. Listen to your kids, listen to your children. Why is this important?
Well, as I was saying with my Uncle Alan, I think that children really know whether you're listening or not.
Yes.
And you really need to pay attention. And if you do, a lot of misunderstandings may be avoided. They're often trying to tell you something, and it may not be exactly what they're saying, but pay attention to them,
There's
listen
truth.
to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? And you'll learn a lot.
I've lived through that with my two kids. You're absolutely right.
And they're a lot of fun.
Yes.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. Next graphic. You said, think twice before using pesticides.
An interesting thing that I've learned through my experience with having dogs and Audubon. You know, I think all of us know, for instance, if you smoke, that there's a downside to it.
Correct.
Okay? And I think people, although I don't particularly like smoking, if you're educated, you understand the risk, and you choose to, you've made a decision. But I think when it comes to using, in particular, pesticides and many non-organic chemicals on your lawn, I know from the vet literature that there's a 400% increased risk of, I think it's lymphoma in dogs.
Oh, really?
And I can't imagine that something that is unsafe for your dogs is particularly good for your kids. Yeah,
Correct.
and I just think, and in addition to that, everything that you put on your lawn goes into the aquifer, and
the
ultimately
groundwater.
everything comes out into the Long Island Sound. And I just
Yeah.
think people need to think about what they're doing before they do it, or at least understand the risk. If you make a choice and decide that the most important thing is having your lawn be green and not have any
Yes,
weeds,
the greenest on the block. Yes.
that's your choice. But I mean, I've thought about it, and I've decided that if I have weeds in my lawn, I'm gonna.
So be it.
Although I'm completely obsessed with removing every single dandelion, so I spend the entire spring in my
I
lawn
just go, ding,
plucking them out. Rest.
That should be a sight. All right, next graphic. Exercise, Mom.
Oh, exercise. There's a saying in medicine that exercise is probably the least used antidepressant that we have.
Is it an antidepressant?
It clearly is an antidepressant. It is. I think that if more people would exercise, and I understand how hard it is, and I understand how hard it is for me too, I think that the world would be a better place. And I don't mean you have to go out and play on a team, or you need to, win some event. I mean, get up, go outside,
walk,
play.
yes.
I mean, to me, playing, running around as a kid. I mean, when I was a kid, my mother couldn't get us in the house no matter what she did. She was out there ringing that cowbell, screaming, "Boys, get in here! Get in here now!" Yeah. So I just think getting outside, exercising is good for everyone.
Yes.
Yes, whether it's kids or adults.
Doctor's orders.
Yes,
Next
please.
graphic. Oh, you just said it. Go
I
outside.
just said it. Appreciate nature.
Go outside
right,
and
it's exactly,
appreciate nature.
I think there is, I understand the risk of tick bites, and that's why people need to check their kids at the end of the day. And sunburn and other things that you can protect against. But I think the benefits of going outside far
outweigh
the risk. Yes.
So this is where we're going to have like a TV gallery
Okay.
of some of your amazing photos.
Oh, thank you.
Go for it, Dill. What are we looking at here?
That is a praying mantis,
having
unfortunately
dinner.
having dinner with a dragonfly.
Oh my God.
Eating his
Where were you?
head.
Where were you?
I was actually at a very famous garden when I just saw that out of the corner
And
of my eye.
you had your camera ready?
Yes, so this woman is very famous for her daylilies, so I was taking pictures of those, and that I saw. It's very hard to catch
oh my God,
that.
Somebody said, yeah, that's not easy to catch.
The dragonfly didn't fare very well.
No,
I'm
no.
sorry to say. I couldn't watch it anymore. I had to stop it. But
Oh gosh. Next photo, Dill. Oh,
that's
a good recovery
yes.
from the picture.
A lot more
we saw.
pleasant. Except my neighbor Tanya Larry's house, and they
Yes.
have, I believe they're called anemones, and they're just, it wasn't black,
Anemones?
anemones.
Anemones.
Yeah, it's just a pretty flower, and it wasn't dark out. It's just that it was so focused just on that it worked out.
Yeah, beautiful. Next photo.
Oh, this is going to take some explaining.
Dinner?
I can't explain this quickly. Basically, I'm fascinated with dragonflies, and this is a dragonfly that's just cracked out of its nymphal shell, which is the thing above the eyes there.
Yes.
And it's a brand newly born dragonfly, and it's actually pumping blood into its wings. And that's why that wing that's on, well, at least my lower left, it's just opening up with that yellow substance, which I assume is blood. And I didn't even realize what I had taken a picture of until after I looked on the camera. Yeah, I mean, on the computer.
More, Dylan, more.
That's pretty straightforward. That's a monarch. Although, you know, one of the things that I think most people don't realize, first of all, monarchs feed on milkweed, which is toxic to birds, so they won't eat the monarchs. And these monarchs, it's a little bit complicated to explain in a short time, but basically the monarchs that the last generation fly all the way down to Mexico. It's unbelievable.
Wow.
To think that this little wisp of an insect can fly to Mexico, overwinter there, and then start reproducing and coming up the coast again through successive generations. It's just incredible to me.
Yes, it's a miracle.
That has to be.
It's a miracle.
If that doesn't get you excited or at least sound interesting, I don't know what to say.
What else do we have, Dill? More pictures. Dinner time.
Oh yes, that's a green heron who decided to have what I think is a sunny. It was in the Everglades at my mom's house, and it's just hard to catch a bird actually
you really are
getting
good at
getting a fish.
Having your camera at the right moment.
Yes, and you can take a lot of pictures when you do digital photography.
Yes.
So.
What else do you have, Dill?
One of my favorite places, Hilton Head. That was sunrise in Hilton Head, and I have not the vaguest idea of who that guy or the dog were. But, I just like the picture. It's beautiful.
Wonderful. We've got 2 more pictures. Let's
go.
What's
it's one of my favorite pictures ever. It's an old dragonfly. You can see the wings are breaking down the back on a colorful plant that I don't know what it is. I think I know, but I'll massacre the name, so I won't say it.
Beautiful shot, and the final one.
Oh, yeah. You have to. I remember when I was a kid, bluebirds really were almost non-existent because starlings, which were imported into this country, were taking over their nesting boxes, and in other words, I believe, and that's a bluebird in winter, and they're just so beautiful.
So beautiful. So beautiful.
He's all puffed up, trying to stay warm.
So beautiful. Yeah. Wow. Okay, we have another slide. Let's see what the last one was. You said in relation to our children, keep an open mind.
I'm trying to think of what
do you want us to know as parents? Any final thoughts?
Well, I think that like adults, children want to be noticed.
Yes.
They want to be heard. They want to be appreciated. Yeah. I don't think that they...
And respected.
And respected. And I don't think they necessarily want to always hear, well, you're wonderful, you're perfect, because I don't think that's really... I don't think it's true.
Yeah.
And I think it gives some kids sort of a skewed view
Sense
of life.
reality.
I think getting honest information and being appreciated, whether you do something well or not so well, I think that's how you grow up to be a full adult.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Thank you, Dr. Gropper.
Oh, you're welcome. This
was
pleasure.
So awesome.
Very nice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
so much. Parents, listen to your children. This is words for me as well. Let's all listen to our children. Thank you so much, Dr. Gropper, for coming.
You're welcome.
It was an absolute
Thank you for having
pleasure. Yes, and you know where to find us on Facebook, Hanging Out with Dee. Be kind to someone. Listen to your children. See you next time. Bye.